Yummy. Hey, yeah, just like the show. That's the show that you're all listening to right now, everyone. Yay! I'm Bartek. I'm kind of hosting. They told me to do the intro this time.
And if you don't, we'll pull the trigger.
Yeah,
okay?
and I did.
Be a good boy.
And I did. So put that trigger away.
Okay, I'll put it away. I'll just aim it at the 3rd season of Starfleet Academy, and I'll pull it because we're not getting that anytime soon. Bartek, thank you for being brave enough to not only do the intro for this recap of our podcast, Yum Yum Podcast, but for joining us in our journey through Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Fun fact, if this is someone's first episode, they literally know my name and not the hosts' names.
I am one of the hosts, but we are both joined by another host, my beautiful wife, Rachel.
Yep.
She's here, and she's so thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled too, and Bartek, he's indifferent.
I can't contain it.
Rachel, if you can't contain it, there'll be a warp core breach, and what will we do? We've only got cadets. None of them know about engineering. Who could save us if there was a warp core breach on the Athena? Who of our cadets could save the day?
If only there was an engineering student.
If only there was one who was studying engineering. Who could it be? We'll have to wait and find out. But I am Ryan, one of the hosts here at Yum Yum Podcast, and we love to sit down and talk about science fiction television one episode at a time, or in this case, we were doing 2 episodes at a time for the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and we have finished up the season, and so we're here today to look back and talk about it, go through the high points, the low points, and just have a general moment of taking it all in. Now that we've got the full picture, we can say, did this work for us? But Bartek, this was your first time round with a Star Trek show.
Yeah, my first taste.
Your first taste. A yummiest taste. And just to remind people of your journey with Star Trek previously, what has it been? And what were you thinking this was going to be like, this series, when walking into it?
My journey through Star Trek was long ago. I was actually going to bring this up in the captain's log, but no one asked a follow-up question, so it didn't happen. I was watching TV, Nickelodeon, and there was a new show out called Unfabulous. It was an Emma Roberts starring vehicle.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I have.
Oh, great.
And there's an episode early on where it's like a high school show about, these year 7 characters. And there's an episode early on where the characters, they all have, it's a high school show, so they're all in different cliques.
Yeah. I watched Starfleet Academy. I can understand the concept.
Yes, so that's why I didn't bring it up, and the captain's like, you need to watch this first.
Yeah.
And there was a class that they were doing where there was an assignment where for this week, you will all be assigned into different cliques, and you can only hang out with people from the same clique, and you have, the fun gags of the popular girls in the nerd class, the thing, and this boy who's kind of insecure, he's in the future CEOs of America clique, which is a thing apparently.
Aged well.
But the one that I brought up just before about the cool girl being in the nerd clique, she was devastated about it, and the teacher said, "Don't worry, character name, here, this will help you. It's all 62 episodes of Star Trek," and she starts crying. And that was my first time ever hearing about Star Trek. And so based on that, I'm like, oh, that's a nerd thing. That's a thing for nerds. I don't know what it is, but it's for nerds.
You are a nerd, though, Bartek.
But he didn't know that back then.
Yeah,
when
that
he was a child. He thought he was cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's a nerd thing. So every time I heard...
no.
Rachel disputes the idea that you ever thought you were cool.
She's only known adult Bartek.
Yeah, when Bartek was young, being this was considered cool. But so you just knew it as just this foreign nerd thing.
Yeah, and growing up, I hear about it more and more. It's like, oh, this is actually a pretty big thing. Oh, a lot of people really like this nerd thing.
Star Wars or Star Trek, you got to pick one, that level.
I think even at that point,
battled
even at that point, I don't think I was into Star Wars at all either. So
yeah.
But yeah, as growing up, just hearing more and more people being into it, okay, maybe there is something to this, and that very cool show maybe has misled me.
And then you've seen a single film of Star Trek.
Saw Star Trek Into Darkness in the cinema.
And were you a fan of it?
I don't think so. I didn't hate it, but I think it was just a thing like, yeah, watch that, I'll forget about it.
And with Star Trek Starfleet Academy, Rachel and I were anticipating this because this has been something in the works for our entire lives and beyond. Like, Star Trek has been wanting to do an
I feel
Academy
like that
show
was a relatively
for.
neutral word choice of.
Because, like, were you ever, as someone watching Star Trek, were you ever, like, lamenting we never got that Academy show?
No, no, but I often forgot about it. I'm like, oh yeah, they're saying that they're still working on them, but clearly not because nothing has happened.
And
you were saying your sister was, right?
yeah, my sister was excited back in the day and for when this was coming out, because when you watch certain Star Treks like The Next Generation, there are episodes about the Academy, there are episodes at the Academy or adjacent to the Academy.
It makes sense for the world of Star Trek to have this sort of show.
It was a bit of a toss-up because, yeah, having been friends with you guys for years and hearing about your opinions of, like, the recent Star Trek stuff, it was a toss-up of, like, okay, is this going to be another example of new Trek, or is this actually going to be something that's refreshing? So it was, a little fun little mystery walking and being like, what are we going to get?
And what did we get from your point of view? What are your just general thoughts on it?
General thoughts on it is that even though I think I've given 4 out of the 10 episodes yum-yums, but even then I still generally do have kind of like positive feelings towards it. There's kind of been like 3 tiers of episodes, like ones that I really liked, ones that I quite liked, and like if they just had a little bit more, I would have given a yum-yum, and then maybe 2 episodes that I'm like, oh yeah, those are not good. And it's just this really frustrating thing seeing so many examples of that middle tier being like, you're so close, what are you doing? It's just doing way too much. Like, I'm honestly surprised. I was thinking over the episodes, and I think maybe my 3rd favorite episode might be one that I gave a yum to. It's like that kind of weird thing where I like this one episode more than 2 that I gave yum-yums to.
I don't hate this season at all. This, to me, is unfortunately a first season of a Star Trek show. The Academy show just falls short because they have these things here, they have these characters here, they have this cast as well, like I think a pretty decent cast, from the mainstays to the guests to the minor supporting characters. But they just fall onto the formula, which is supervillain. We must take them down. And you could technically argue we have 6 out of 10 episodes dedicated to life on campus and shenanigans. But that's also disingenuous to say because so many of those episodes will have a plot that kind of resembles that and then drop it. Like Darum and Caleb, they have to live together and they don't get on. That's technically a plot that happened in this season, but we didn't actually see it. And so it doesn't fulfill itself. It's like you could argue in the first season of TNG, technically the characters are there and they have their thing, like Data is Data and Riker is Riker, but that's disingenuous to say as well. Like they aren't fully formed. And that's what I think of this show is, it's not fully formed. The things are there, but they're not fully formed. Rachel, what about you? What are your thoughts on Star Trek Starfleet Academy?
I was surprised by how boring the show was. Because it wasn't just like this episode is boring or this plot's boring or this character is boring. They kind of took it in turns. And then it just wore me down as the season went on. And that's quite different than the problems that we had with Discovery. By the end of that show, it was just all just boring. But a similarity that it does have is how much it relies on telling, not showing. And that also grated on me more as we went through the show. Because I'm like, but no, you've already established a way that you could show me this and you're not. And then sometimes they would, but after they'd already told me.
Why do you think, because you mentioned it, the first half kind of lives up to this realm of possibilities, and then they drop the ball in the second half?
I think it's after they try and change everything. Like, there's meant to be a before and after. Like, kind of at multiple points, actually, because there's a before and after Caleb with his mum.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that first episode is about. There's a strength to the emotional strings that they are playing with that plot. And then there's the before and after of the incident with Baraka, the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the season after that point really fell off because they'd been building up one thing, and then they had this episode where it's like everything changes, somebody dies, but then they try and go back to the way that things used to be while also acknowledging that they're not the way that they used to be, but not changing anything about the show so that it is different.
Trauma counseling doesn't seem to be enough. Our kids need more help. We need some serious reinforcement.
Do you think we ought?
I do think we do ought.
And I know this is kind of backhanded, but it is night and day. Because I have nothing from the back half of the season for my favorite moments and or choices. It's all from the beginning. It's all from the start of the season. And I have to say, one of my favorite things, and it did blossom because of our podcast discussions and because of Bartek's enthusiasm, whether it was genuine or you being ironic at the beginning, which is Kyle.
Yeah.
I thought Kyle was great. At the start, when we kind of tapped into it, there was like I felt like a level of irony because the show was just like being jokey with it. But they wove him in, and I actually started to like him, and I liked the realm where they kept him as like this on purposely minimal character, but they have such a personality to them. Everything that he did, or every reaction he had, was the type of storytelling that this show needs to lean into more, which is it was always informative without just telling us directly. Just seeing his smile or seeing him react to the prank war and how he just thought it was funny. So much was given to that actor. And that's the type of thing I love. That was one of my favorite choices that they made in this season, was giving like little bit parts like that to people. But specifically Kyle, because I think he was the one that like followed through in each appearance that he had. So that was one of my favorite choices. Favorite moment of the season is a different beast altogether, because I feel bad that my favorite moment goes to like a legacy character, but it does, which is Picardo singing that opera in the background of that one scene. I was like, this is great. This is the type of thing I want more of, as well as Jet Reno's class in episode 2. I do believe
Both of those are episode 2.
That was the best scene to me of the show, was just that, and that it actually tied together with the final episode. Too bad there wasn't a through line, but it was a good scene, and people shit on that scene, but I thought it was a great scene.
I enjoyed it, and it leads nicely into one of my things, which was Jet Reno getting to be an actual character.
Because she wasn't in Discovery.
She wasn't in Discovery. She gets to be a character here, and it's not the best, but it's so much better.
She just snaps into place in this show. Tig Notaro just gets the vibe of this show, I think, more than anyone else. But did you have any other favorite moments or choices from this first season, Rachel?
Giamatti hamming it up. Like, any of those moments, they're just fun. They're just fun. And sometimes they're bad for the episode, but they're still fun.
And getting pushed around in episode 6.
Yeah.
Whoa!
A genuine moment that I still find funny is when Genesis is just like, it's a slug. It's not like it can warp.
And then it proceeds to.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was silly, but it was
It,
fun.
it was dumb, and then when you thought about it too long, it really annoyed me. But the initial moment and the idea of there being a warping slug in this universe, I appreciated it. And I have another one, but instead I'm just gonna echo that Kyle is great, and I love that he managed to get sunburnt.
Yeah, weird makeup for it.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with that.
I don't like that was his last appearance.
No.
But, yeah.
No. What about you, Bartek? Since you've been much more positive on the season, I'm sure that you have a plethora of choices ahead of you when it comes to moments and things that they did.
Well, you guys have stolen the Kyle and the Giamatti stuff. But no, seriously, from the beginning, I've really liked Kyle. I've been talking about how I wanted this show to be like a bit more silly at times, a bit more lighthearted, and that character just did it perfectly from their first appearance. Like, I made the observation, like, oh, he just really likes funny things, and like there was a consistency there. His second appearance in episode 5, he's got like only 2 or 3 moments, but like it kind of follows up on that. I'm like, yes, they get this character. Like, I think the line I've thought about the most is just like when they're in that bar and his 2 friends are just like, being dickish and antagonist, and he just goes, "Great jackets, guys." It's very cheesy, but like, yes, they know what this character wants to be, and they're letting him be it.
Something on a dramatic level, since we've been choosing a lot of like fun, just tangential things, like just, this fun side character, this line delivery.
Them delivering on the thing we wanted.
Something dramatic that I really thought that they nailed was Jaden in the 4th episode, him and his values of being a Klingon and of being a Starfleet cadet. That war within himself and just his convictions, but the fact that they actually gave us him turning around and being like, I am Klingon, like this does matter to me. You are trying to be nice, but in your niceties, you are being condescending. That was, I think, the most chin-stroking and fist-pump moment for me as a fan of this franchise. That's the type of thing I love from this franchise, from this series, and this episode and that character was often the avenue for it, and that specific choice there was also like living up to the potential of, not only is this the Academy show, they make it a point of, and in that episode, this is an Academy of people from drastically different backgrounds. Pretty much the entirety of this cast is alien characters, while usually in other Star Trek shows, it's pretty even or mostly human characters or whatever. But in this show, Caleb is like the human we have pretty much, and the rest of them are aliens. And Jaden, even though he's a familiar alien to Rachel and I of being a Klingon, that was that war of identity and cultural values is exactly the right thing to hit for me. And that was one of my favorite things that they did.
And that's great, because in the captain's log, I think you said that was the character you were most nervous about.
Yeah. You and I went on journeys with the characters we were apprehensive about this season. We said a lot of, well, unfortunately, this happened. Which means not everything worked in this season of television. And I'm shocked to hear that, because Rachel's been nothing but smiling and happy about Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
She complimented a latter half moment.
Yes, she did. But Rachel, I know that you're going to have to really strain. Going to really have to find something that was a least favorite thing that they did. But do you have any least favorite things of this show?
I have 2, and then one that I'm not going to say because it's my yum yum moment of the season.
Ooh, so ominous.
The first, that professor being a Trill. And not just a Trill, but Dax.
Yes.
No. Bad. Don't like it. Made it more dumb. Can't even talk in proper sentences now. That's how dumb it made me. And then the other you know, Tilly was here. She always gives an abundance of choice for bad choices. But her being involved in non-consensual group therapy through a theater class is so many layers of bad.
You're also choosing, like, the sins of previous characters being brought into this show.
Yeah, because those are both episodes that actually rely on it being a school. And then they don't trust their plots enough to be about the here and now. It has to be about the legacy of the previous shows. So that's one reason that it dampens it. 2, they played dirty pool with the Trill reveal.
Mm-hmm.
They hit it in a way that it only makes sense that they were hiding it. It's not a natural thing or a realistic thing. It's like no.
Oh, was that the thing where it's like, oh, I didn't tell you my last name. It's this.
Yes, and
Yeah,
also
the
my
spots.
spots that should go all the way down just mysteriously don't for some reason, and they're behind my hairline that you didn't see, and it's like, oh, come on.
I expect to see you in my class next year. Find it in the course catalog under my full name, Isla Dax.
Wait. You're Dax. Like the Dax? As in mentor to Cisco Dax?
Well, I should have known you'd do your research.
The writing will often strawman the characters because it itself has a point. It doesn't want to give leeway. So Caleb, often in his relationship dramas, is correct. From my point of view, morally, ethically, and from a human level, he is correct. But the show does not want to side with him because they want him to go on, in quotations, an arc, but they don't give him any credence. So I am frustrated on his behalf because the show is arguing against him, but it's showing him to be right. That goes with Tilly's stuff, where this therapy session is morally repugnant in a show that would actually be about school. There would be an ethical debate with the teachers about if this is the correct thing to do. Like, a real show that's about sci-fi and about school would actually examine if you had the Dead Poets Society style teacher come in, if that's good. And spoiler alert for Dead Poets Society, things don't work out well for certain characters in that movie because of that style of teaching rubbing up against the establishment and the parents. And it turns out very poorly. This show doesn't even want to have the chutzpah to dive into that. So I turn around and there's just so many things where it's just like, it doesn't agree with Paul Giamatti. But it'll give him all of these things that are true and don't get counted. But in the end, it doesn't matter because we said he's a baby. But everything he said is factual or has some credence or has some level of something. But he's a bad guy, so you don't care. Caleb is a bad guy because he's insensitive. So at the end of the day, when he becomes sensitive, now we can agree with him. But it's like, no. And that's my biggest critique. Like, obviously, the worst thing that this show did was all of the weird stuff around consent and all of the toxic, truly toxic relationship stuff between Caleb and Tarima that they don't acknowledge as toxic.
You've kind of gone over the big ones, and I've also got one it's not the worst moment of the season, but it's the one moment, the biggest moment for me where it's like the show just completely, blindsided me because it was doing a great thing, and then and I've talked about it already, it's episode 7, Cosine, Darum's wife. Yeah, they get married, and they have set up this, like, fantastic, sort of character who's only going to be in this one episode. You're being told, not shown a lot of things, but the writing is there to back it up, and I can see what the conclusion's going to be, and it's going to be this nice, beautiful thing, and then they do the nice, beautiful thing, and then they just have to add a little extra to the end to ruin everything, where it's like, come on. Come on, you literally could cut the last part of this and it'll be great.
Where she turns around as this Viper-like character and she's like, you lied to me. That's something too. And Rachel...
It goes back to relationship stuff too.
You spoke about this throughout the season, but it was something that we asked of it is it sexist? Like, the way that they treat female characters in particular is very, like, pointed of just, like, they go... Women, you know how... I don't mean to be...
Women be like...
Women be like, bitches be crazy. That's a lot of this season with the female characters is, you know how those bitches be.
Yeah. And another, I forgot about this because it's, half the show ago, but the Klingon guy that died, sorry, not Klingon, the Vulcan guy that died, he had the best friend character who was a Romulan.
Yes.
I forgot that she wasn't in the episode he died in.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Like, I read a trivia point that's like, the last time you see her is at the bar in episode 5. I'm like, what?
She gets knocked out.
Yeah, I forgot that was the last we saw of her.
Bartek stole something for later in this episode. That was
sorry.
a shock to me as well. But don't worry, it's still shocking that character actually disappears from the show. And there's just so many things like this. Like, why does this season need a villain? Like, why does this show need a villain? Like, we love Paul Giamatti. Can you justify why this series has an antagonist in the framework that he is in?
I would say no.
I guess they just have their own priorities, and those priorities are not what I wanted.
They don't need it for the show that they are doing. They need it because of the writers that they have and the producers that they have and the network that this is on.
If I had to speak to the mentality, I think it's a crutch of the franchise. Like, there's a villain that obtains a technology that becomes a super weapon. It's Khan. It's Wrath of Khan. However, what I think it is in their mind as writers, it's not a serious story if there isn't an antagonist to overcome.
They need a tangible big bad for the season.
And a universe-ending threat. But you are making the Starfleet Academy show. Why do you need that? That's a question that should have been asked immediately, and no one asked it. You can tell no one asked, why do we need this? Because, to just be genuine here, my favorite episode of this show was the 4th episode, where it was about the characters. It was about them in the school setting. We were using the backdrop of this universe of we're reeling from this dystopic setting. There's war-torn areas, there's refugees, all of that. But that served as the foundation for an in-depth character study about Jayden. And it made us understand why he wants to be a cadet. Something that no other episode of this show does for any of the other cadets. I walk away going, I only know the reason for 2 characters wanting to be a cadet, and that is Sam, because she's built for this purpose, literally built and constructed for it, and Jayden on a personal level, I know.
Yeah.
So that episode, what was it? Vox Excelsior?
Vox in Excelsior. It's my favorite too.
I think it's the only one you gave a yum-yum to, isn't it?
Maybe.
Quite.
Rachel, I'm pretty sure that might be the only one you gave yum-yum to.
Quite possibly.
You didn't give one to the theater episode. That's crazy.
Fuck off.
I like the way you put that one right. It's a yum, but with a smile.
But this episode about Jayden, it's hands down the best.
Easily.
Nothing even comes close to it. In fact, it's so good that it weakens the rest of the season because they have
you showed us that you could do this.
They have no excuse. Every choice that they fumble, you can actually point to and say, you actually know better.
It's even memorable on a visual level because we get a lot of like outdoor scenes in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no green screen here.
Yeah, we're in the
Maybe
forest.
Maybe a little, but yeah, this is a real forest.
Why did this one stand out so much for you, Bartek?
I think, like you were saying, it was a character episode that wanted to explore that. Did that episode have like an extensive B plot?
It was about the debates.
Yeah, I think it was just about that one plot. It was Jayden. It gave you some information about like his race in this post-man world. And it explored also his insecurities. It mixed all these things together really well, and it was engaging.
It was your first Klingon story too.
That's what I said there.
And what did you get out of that? Like, is it something that's like you are aware that these are big players of this entire series? Like of Star Trek, they're the big alien that most people who don't know Star Trek know about the Klingons.
It's got a language that people can learn, apparently.
Yeah, and that can be pretty intimidating. Like if you're coming into Star Trek, that could be pretty intimidating. Like there's so much here, but was the way that they handled it digestible to a newcomer like you?
Yeah, I think I can't remember how much the show itself establishes, like, you know, the warrior. Yeah, in the first episode, when you meet Laura Thok and Jaden, you do get a lot of exposition about, like, you know, Klingons need to die in battle, and that's honor. Why do you want to live a long life? And it's like, you know, I serve this purpose, and that will be, you know, the thing that fulfills me. So you have this idea, okay, Klingons are like this, he's different. Episode 4 comes around, and you have that moment where Caleb and Genesis like, hey, we're going to be on your side for when, you know, we do the debate thing and you defend this Klingon thing. It's like, no, I am for it. It's like, what? Is this like a moment of him being like, you know, stubborn? And it's like, no, I'm deadly serious, and here is why. And it's like, oh, this actually all makes sense. Like, I may be different, but I am also literally this thing. And it's like, okay, this is really interesting.
He has nuance.
Yeah. I compared that episode to Babylon 5, I believe.
It relied on the characters that they were establishing. It built them out. It fleshed them out. The storyline only makes sense in this context for Star Trek. Like, that kind of storyline has been done elsewhere, but this version of it only makes sense in the Academy show.
You can read it in so many ways. There's so many allegorical ways you could read that episode. Like, if you wanted to just write an essay about this being a story of a refugee, you can. If you want to write this as a story, a critical analysis of it as a Klingon story, you can. If you want to write it in the way Rachel's talking about, like as an Academy set story, you can. It's malleable. You can pull at it in any way, and it still works.
But not in a way because not in the way that some of the other episodes are, where it's malleable because it has no internal structure that's rigid enough. It's what many pieces of good Star Trek media are, which is it has this veneer, but it's getting at social themes underneath, and those can be transferred and mapped onto a great many other things in the real world.
But I don't have any people. Okay, so you need
Correct. You do not have people. You regurgitate facts about everything and everyone, the Klingons, the Orions, the Federation, but you have no understanding of what any of that means.
There are episodes of this show that are just bad to me. Just purely, that's a bad episode. And then there are episodes that offend me. And those are special. Those are special episodes to consider. And to talk about an episode that offended me, I feel like I would steal the thunder from Bartek, because I know it's your least favorite episode, which is episode 6, because you've said that one's boring. I find it offensive because of all of the consent stuff with Terima. That's the episode where they have sex, she enters his mind, and all of that. And that was so morally repugnant to me that anything else about that episode with the Furies and Paul Giamatti and him going, wow, wow, all of that is so far in the distance because of the Caleb and Terima relationship that episode sticks out to me as such a stinker. However, it's not my least favorite episode because that has to go to the theater episode, The Life of the Stars.
I have distinction between least favorite and worst.
Yes.
I have the same pick as Ryan.
The Life of the Stars is a terrible episode. It's
Mhm.
objectively the worst episode of the show.
Yes.
It's stupid. It does the TV thing where it's just like, the play now is becoming their lives. And isn't that magical and poetic? And aren't we oh so smart? But then if you think about it for a moment, it all just collapses in. And it also has the Terima and Caleb relationship stuff. This is the Terima episode, but it doesn't sustain itself because we don't know her. So when she says, I'm the ghost girl, she's fucking right, because she's a ghost in the show. She's haunted this show with the idea of being a character, but then hasn't really had any. And then when she has, it's been gross. So when we have this episode, I feel sorry for her in the sense of she's right about Tilly, but the episode says, fuck you, Terima, because you're being a dumb bitch. And I'm like, I'm glad you're acknowledging it now. I'm glad you're acknowledging it now, but the episode pissed me off. Like, it did, when I was watching it, it was like drinking poison. But thinking back on it, talking about it, looking at the dumb moments like Darum being like, I don't even recognize the walls of this place. As stated, it's a yum, but with a smile.
It's funny.
But it's terrible. It's a terrible episode.
No, it's one that I laugh at, and that's more than I can say for episode 6. It's worse than episode 6, but I enjoy it more on an entertainment level because of the ironic elements.
So were we right in the assessment that Come Let's Away, episode 6, is your least favorite still? You said early on that that one is the one that you genuinely didn't like.
It's the one that I would say was boring to me. None of the other ones were boring to me. I know that for you guys, a lot of them were, but this was the only one. And honestly, it's just because I just didn't connect with it. It's just... Yeah, it was just doing too much action-y stuff. Like, the only parts that I liked were the Paul Giamatti stuff, and even then we talk about how there's like a lot of shaky stuff there, and when you compare that Paul Giamatti stuff to things that we hear about in his first and last appearances, there's, you know, contradictions, whether intentional or not. It's hard to gauge. I walked out of episode 6 just being like, oh god, what am I in for now?
You agree that there is distinctions of the bad category of episodes? You know, there's worst and least favorites.
I would put, episodes 6 and 8 as like the bad tier for me, but for different reasons. Like, that one was boring and I just didn't connect with it. 8 was, you know, terribly written, but I can laugh at it.
And you loved Tilly's performance. You loved her coming in and just saying strange lines.
Her first scene, I think I said in that episode, like, she's wearing her personality on her sleeve, and oh boy, when you gave me a task for this episode and I had to go through a bunch of like class scenes and I watched that one again, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Rachel?
Tomorrow we theater.
Rachel, you agree that The Life of the Stars was the worst episode for you.
Yeah, I did.
As someone who's been much more negative on the series, someone who's been much more harsh, someone who has worn their heart on their sleeve about why this has not worked for them, how come this one beats out the rest?
Like, well, you remember all the nice things that I said about my favorite episode? This episode is the opposite of pretty much all of those praises that I gave. It is not really about the characters. It doesn't make sense for the show. It doesn't make sense for the setting because it's the first year academy and this is a third year subject, but they're making them do it. It tells you everything. It doesn't show you basically anything at all. Characters have their moments, but it feels like the actors are having a moment where they get to do their thing, not what a character would actually do. And like, one of the worst scenes in this episode is the one where Terima's brother, who's more of a character than she is, but I can't remember his name right now.
Occam, like the razor.
I should remember that, but I don't.
Because I don't address him that much. He's
Yeah.
just always there.
No,
By
but,
the
he's
time-
their third bunk mate.
Yeah.
But we don't see them in their bunks, so it doesn't matter. It's like a nebulous idea.
By the time I looked up his name at the end of one of our episodes and like told you guys, okay, his name's Occam, like he stopped mattering, kind of.
He heard you. He heard you and said, Bartek, I'm stepping away.
Him standing up to Tilly and being like, "This is bullshit."
And then standing up to Terima being like, let us feel our feelings, Terima, like she's stopping them.
God.
We're tired of pretending.
She has the inhibitor, not all of them.
Him turning around and being like, I'm tired of pretending.
We're tired of pretending we're all right, T. He calls her like T or something.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
They're siblings. What is their sibling dynamic? In narratives, as well as in real life, there's a sibling dynamic. Bartek has a younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
When we hang out with his younger brother, they instantly lock into a fun sibling dynamic that you say is different to when it's just you two alone.
Oh yeah, when
or
we're
you
alone
two with your family.
we're different to when there's a third or more people.
But that's instant. What is Terima and Occam's sibling dynamic? So when he does this, does it go counter to that dynamic? Is this the moment where you go, oh, it's serious because Occam is turning around and saying this to her?
But
we don't
he's
know.
never the serious one.
But he's never not so silly either. Like, he's been humorous, but I've never would describe him as the goofball in the group. He's always just kind of, he's more like
He's had moments.
Yeah, but no, so has everyone.
It's like in episode 2, when at the end when he's revealed to be the bunkmate, he's like kind of, clumsy when he's like lifting weights in their room. Episode 3, he's the mascot character in
He's
the
the
laser
dweeb.
game. Yeah, but beyond that, not really so much goofy.
On paper, he should be the Millhouse,
Yeah,
the nerd, the dweeb friend, but not really.
I think there was also a bit of humor in like episode 5 where like he and Sam had like a secret handshake.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
they
like,
give
oh,
each other
they
nicknames.
have like a background like relationship. That's kind of weird.
But is it real? You ask that, is her monologue, how much of this is reality and how much of this is her perception of reality? So is that real? We don't know. It's like Paul Giamatti's dad. Is any of the things he said real about his dad? Talking about these characters, there's a large ensemble here. We have 6 main characters on that poster, but there's plenty more. As we're talking about, Occam's here, fun side character that could have more. There's so many people here. And surprisingly, there is actually quite a struggle for me to pick a favorite character because I liked quite a few people, and not just because of their character, but I thought a lot of the actors in this show locked into who their characters are. Like, I think performance-wise, there's very little that I have against the actors, only a couple, but for most of them, they're just like, they know it more than the script does, is what I feel.
Before you give yours, I want to ask you a question and then ask
Yes.
Bartek something.
Okay.
Which is, Ryan, did legacy characters come to your mind first when considering this question?
100%. 100%.
Bartek,
Mm.
did legacy characters come to your mind first when you thought of this question?
Weirdly enough, maybe Jet Reno came to my mind. Like, I really liked the Doctor, but for some reason I didn't consider him when I was like, oh, who's my favorite? Yeah.
Even though he has an arc. He has whole episodes
No, he does,
dedicated
he does.
to him going through an emotional journey.
Yeah,
He's great, but yeah.
I just wanted to check in on that because
It's because I don't have the context of the legacy, really.
But they're bringing their lived-in experience as actors to these roles. They already know their characters.
Yes.
So that subliminally to the audience, we already feel that. Like when Robert Picardo shows up, and you were like, oh, that's the Doctor you talked about. He's from the other shows. I'm like, you may not know that, but you can tell from the performance that he knows this character.
I said from the beginning, there's a comfort to his performance.
yeah, even Vance.
Vance as well, the Admiral. Like, there's a few.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, he was from Discovery.
I had
but,
no idea until just now.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought maybe you'd give it a go, given your history.
My history happened decades before you were born, Charlie. How do you even know about it?
Your personal files. I've been reading them for the last 7 years. Longer than War and Peace and so much more
Dramatic?
insane.
I had to choose between an actual main cadet character and someone else.
It's like a poster character.
I have to choose one. And I have to choose the cadet characters, it's Darum. Even though I feel like the show is actively working against that, I think that actor is probably the best out of our mains. I think he is fantastic. I really like what he's doing. I think he's giving a lot more grace and maturity to the role than they are as writers. Because I think in their hearts, they look at him as the lovable asshole. But I don't buy that. Like, I don't. I think he as a performer is giving something more genuine to him, while someone like Caleb feels more like the lovable arsehole, really, when I look back on the season, than Darum. But I think Darum has had a pretty good arc. And why I choose him over Jaden is, unfortunately, Jaden has his moment, and then he steps back a lot. Like, a lot of him is just in the background. He's just having a nice thing with Kyle in the background. He's having a nice friendship with all of them in the background.
They really drop him in the last third of the show.
They do,
Yeah.
but
Well,
because
Darum,
of
he's
what
always there. Darum's always present, even if they don't handle him well.
I picked Jaden because of what they do with him. Like, they do drop the ball, but I also like that sort of as a character, he's getting a reprieve of drama, but he's still there to help. I like that he tried to get them all to do the ceremony to bond them together, and that it clearly mattered to him. And
Mattered to Darum, even.
yeah. I also appreciate that he is a Klingon character that is full Klingon. So often we have them being watered down in some way because of their background. Like, Worf is full Klingon, but he grew up as a war orphan.
Raised by
Thus is
humans.
B'Elanna.
Half human.
Mm-hmm. And that it being a central struggle of what is it to be both things. And I appreciate that being Klingon but not being Klingon enough is still something that they use Jaden's character to explore. And the way that they show the positives and the negatives of the rigid structures of their culture, especially in the flashbacks that we get. And because we know that culture and it's so clear, that works for me so much better than getting Darum's backstory.
Oh, 100%. For me, what I like about Darum is I like his character, but I don't think that they've written him an arc very well. His background is messy, but as a presence, as a personality, I like him. When he comes in, he offers something
like
to
him
a
too.
scene. But with Jaden, you are correct. On that bigger level, he is so much better, but they don't know. Here's the thing. They don't know what to do with it. They're like, oh no, we have a really complex thing.
We gave him the best episode, and now we're kind of done.
They're shy.
Honestly, it is kind of a toss-up between Jaden and Darum. I think I am kind of siding with Rachel on the peaks.
I knew that none of us were going to pick Caleb.
Bartek was the closest to ever do it.
I knew the fact that the cadet protagonist was never going to be in any of our top characters, really.
No, because they dropped the ball with him. But Bartek...
sorry.
No, it was going to be mostly repeating what you guys said. Just the peaks that they go with Jaden is the thing that I value the most. But yeah, Darum's presence is just very consistent throughout the whole season. And, it was very funny thinking back to myself, like rooting for like, oh, you need to be the cringiest one because that's the little, wager I bet in the captain's log. Because the reason I picked him was we kept talking about all these characters and he was just off there to the side. I don't know if any of us even mentioned him. So I'm like, blind guess, the guy we haven't talked about.
The guy who looks like a jock bully and then doesn't really live up to that fully, but not in a negative sense. It's like he has the appearance of that, but he's actually sensitive underneath. For me, my favorite character truly is Jet Reno. Like, I had to pick a cadet, but truly it's Jet Reno. And I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised because I didn't mind Jet Reno in Discovery, but I always wanted her to be in it fully. Tig Notaro is not a great actor, but she is good at playing the Tig Notaro role. That dry, very surly, very deliberate, as Bartek said when you first got introduced to Tig Notaro in this series, monotonous. Like, she has a very monotone delivery and very, clicks out in a way. But she was a surprise because she was the most consistent character in the season. She had a journey. She had this mentor role to these kids, and it was done in a way where when we got to the last episode, I sat back and was like, holy shit, she actually has been there the whole time. She actually has been having a connective relationship with each of these characters, and I didn't even notice it when we were watching, and that's a good thing. That's in a praise. It wasn't so hit over the head.
Baked in.
It was baked in. It was great when she got to be the captain role, the commander role, and she didn't change her attitude, but it was different. To see her apply that attitude in this context was refreshing, and the students, the cadets, they didn't know what to make of it either. They're like, holy shit, she's commanding us, and she's good at it, and it was just wonderful stuff.
She really snuck up on me in the second half. Like when I was going through the previous episodes, I had completely forgotten that she was there for the entirety of the tryouts for like the laser team thing.
Yeah.
It was her and Laura Thock together.
She's a sports nerd as well. She's a nerd, but she likes sports.
Yeah. She really, really snuck up on me. I didn't know who this person was before starting the show. I thought she was just going to be like the one scene character in episode 2 that had that one scene. Maybe we'll see her again here and there, but no. Again, the whole thing of like we give positives and then we have to tie it to a negative. Like she kind of absorbs the prominence of the Cadet Master character as the show goes on.
There is no caveat with Jet Reno. You don't have I like Jet Reno, but...
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
There's characters that suck as well, unfortunately. Some of them suck and it's not their fault. Like, some of them suck because the show just forgets about them. They're like, whatever. Okay, we gave them characterization and we drop them. Like, Laura Thock, to me, unfortunately, does end in that realm because she has a definition to her. She has something there, but her truly abrupt exit from this show is so unavoidable that it actually made me bitter about the character because I was apprehensive about her in the first episode. I was like, I don't know about this. And then she won me over, and I felt like a fool for having been won over because then they just drop her like a bag of rocks. And I was like, I wasted my investment.
That's not her fault. That's the show's fault. And then that makes it annoying in a different way. Because if it's just like the character being like, peace out, bye, that would be one thing. But the way that they do it is another.
She was one of my least favorites, but of course the worst character in this show. And I am going to make the statement, bold statement, worst character of modern Star Trek, Terima.
We're just on the same page, honey.
I'll just...
She's just the worst.
I'll keep it simple. I think that she is morally bankrupt, and I think that she's repugnant and a truly despicable character. I do not agree with her, and I do think, and Rachel, you can call me out if I'm being wrong here or if I'm being too, pig-headed in this, but I think they skate by on she's a cute girl.
Oh,
she's a cute girl, so she can get away with this. But if she wasn't
an ugly man invaded his mind,
I do think that they skate by on
Caleb
they
would
cast
not
her.
have it. Would not have it.
I do think like a lot of her character traits are defendable because she's a cutesy little girl that can like do the finger pointing, go ooh, I'm just a small bean. That doesn't work on me. I think she's like a reprehensible person.
She's a lot and she's nothing. One problem with her is the fact that she's a betazoid, and this show doesn't seem to understand the lore of betazoids. And then they play with her as like being an extreme version when that is what this species was, and they don't clarify that there's changes in that. So it just looks like messy writing.
And they tell you that she's scary, don't show it as much. Where Bartek forgot that she had mind powers.
When she's like, I'm the freak. And it's just like, really?
When have we seen it? To draw the comparison, Babylon 5 had telepath characters who were ostracized, seen as other, were feared. And you saw it, and you felt it, and you got it.
In Babylon 5, even when Talia would enter a room, people would change.
Because of her powers. And that's what Terima is exclaiming happens to her. But we are never demonstrated anything about that to feel it ourselves. Because we're never in her corner. We are told to be in her corner, but we're never in it. We're never seeing the other characters react poorly to her. Like, who, other than Caleb, has a problem with Terima? Does anyone?
You think I'm afraid of playing a ghost in some stupid play? I'm already the ghost girl.
Who was your least favorite character or characters in this season?
I guess it would also be Terima, but my reasons would be a bit more like what you were saying for Laura Thock, where I really didn't see her as the character. I just kept seeing the writing. Like, I was seeing all the tropes they were doing, getting annoyed that you're still doing this one, you're still doing this one, we're doing this again, you're siding with her again. You can really feel the artifice of like, yo, we're on her side, not Caleb's side. And then by the time you do get to like episode 9 and 10, when the show is like, okay, we're done with that dynamic, she feels a lot more empty, and that's like highlighted by the fact that she is sidelined until she's needed for, whatever they needed to do with her in those episodes.
A choice that is always something that we love from the show, Rachel, is the Yum Yum. Yum Yum is the namesake of the podcast.
The
thing that is so eyebrow raising. We go, whoa, that was weird.
I told you I couldn't give you one of the worst choices because it was going to be my Yum Yum. So I'm jumping in. I'm going first. It's a line. They had a nice moment. They ruined that moment. They ruined that scene. They ruined the next couple of scenes because of this one line.
Before you say it, I just need to go and use the toilet.
Yeah. Can I just say, and I don't know what your Yum Yum moment is, Bartek, but Rachel and I, we are truly a married couple. We are truly the host of Yum Yum because it's the same. We have had so many things be the same. Rachel and I are just on the same wavelength with so many of these things. We are in bonds of matrimony because I know what it is and Bartek already knows what it is. Say it aloud, Rachel. Do you need to pee?
I need to pee.
No, it's wait. Music cuts out. I think I have to pee.
I think I have to pee.
I read an article about why they put that.
Bartek opened up his newspaper. And wouldn't you know, there was an article about why Genesis needed to pee.
Yes, I did. I read an article about why the writers put that line in.
Did you actually?
I did, yes.
Okay, this is news to me.
I was just like, wait, this kid actually exists.
This is the one thing that they've clarified. This is the only thing. It's the P line. Okay. So again, people, to clarify again, Genesis wanting to be captain, finally gets her moment, sits in the captain's seat, and then randomly says, I think I need to pee. As a comedy beat, but like, it's so truly
ruins it undermines it.
It's truly the Yum Yum moment, because like with Yum Yum in Star Trek Discovery, you understand the semblance of a scene, but then the humor that's injected is so lol random. It goes beyond lol random and enters the Yum Yum zone. So why did they do this?
So they were talking about how often they will have Zoom meetings where they're going to talk about the script that they're going to write. They schedule to have this meeting at a specific point. They all come in all right, let's get ready to get this started. And then very often one of them oh, sorry, I know we just started, but I really need to go, pee right now. And they saw that as being this really kind of human, oh, that's a relatable kind of thing. And they related that to the idea of, you're probably not going to like this next part either. The fact that throughout
by the way, I don't believe them. But go on.
Throughout this whole franchise, you've had these, professional characters who, when they sit in the seat, they are completely ready to, do their job. They know the right things to say.
Yeah, they've already demonstrated this with Aki flipping around in the chair, wearing glasses and being silly. They've already demonstrated the subversion, yeah.
And they basically thought, well, no, realistically, you would have moments where someone sits in the seat and realizes, shit, I really need a pee
Do
first.
you?
And and I read that and I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying, but also you needing to pee at the start of a meeting is not the payoff to a character arc.
So was that your Yum Yum moment?
For me, I'm actually gonna go with episode 8, the scene where Tilly confronts Tarima. It's the whole scene because there's just all these. You already brought up I don't even recognize the walls of this place anymore. I talked about how there's this weird audio thing going on, and you've told me in our own time that you think it's a filter.
I think it's a musical sting. So they have the normal orchestral score, but I think they're putting a little sci-fi synthy sound that sounds almost like a bee or a buzzsaw, kind of
Yeah, there's a buzziness to the dialogue in that part, and you pointed out rightfully that there's no point of it being there. But still, I listened to it. I'm I don't know. This really just sounds like an error.
Because they can't have the scene be quiet.
Yeah.
It has to have a noise.
But yeah, there's just all these little things there, Occam suddenly turning around, I'm tired of pretending.
The P line got to be in quiet.
Yeah, they turned the music off.
Yeah, they turned it off for that. But for this scene where they say, I'm the ghost girl, that's where the music has to be. I thought to do something a bit fun for this recap, which was to give a little quiz.
Yeah, it literally says in the thing, Ryan's little quiz.
Ryan's little quiz. So, I have a few questions here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to start off with something very obvious, but something you may not be thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
So, in Star Trek as a franchise, iconically, the uniforms are color-coded.
Mm-hmm.
Red, yellow, blue. Red shirts, infamously, are a thing. From the next generation, from the beginning, each one signifies a specialty, a field. From next gen on, the colors represent these things. Red is command.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow/gold is operations, engineering, and security. So operations is people who operate on the bridge, fly the ship. Engineering, obviously, and security.
The pilots would wear.
Yes, like Sulu wore. And
Yes.
then blue is sciences and medical. So keep that in your mind. So I want to know, in the school show, what are our cadets majoring in?
Jaden's blue. He's medical.
But also, you know that from his character, because he says he wants to be a doctor. I just thought the baseline first question is, in our show, following a crew of characters who are wanting to study to be experts in their field of something, what are they majoring in? Bartek?
I don't remember these colors on the uniform.
You don't have to remember the colors. There's something there, but our character.
What's Caleb's major?
So by that logic, I'm guessing Genesis would have to have a red one.
So you think that she's majoring in
command kind of thing?
I think Caleb is engineering, so yellow.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
I feel like Sam would also be yellow.
But I also am wondering if they don't actually have that consistent of a color. And that they wear multiple.
No, they're consistent. But
Okay.
I use the colors as just a shorthand because the colors always are visual cue of that person's a doctor, that person's security, that person's command.
Well, for me, who's only seen this show, yellow is teacher to me. So.
Yes.
Because that's what Jet Reno has.
Because she is an engineer.
Yeah, and then Laura Thok has red because she's like commandy type.
That's right.
PE, basically.
So, we have our characters. So, what else? We have Genesis, Command. You said Jayden is medical.
Yeah.
We have Caleb, possibly an engineer. Sam is possibly doing engineer / operations. Who else do we have?
We have
Malcolm?
No, I'm talking about just our main cadets.
poster characters.
Yeah, poster characters.
Who is Darum?
Command.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they had the whole thing about like,
he wants to be the captain first.
He wants to be the captain first, but then they're like, he's going to make a good pilot. So now I'm wondering if I had him in yellow the whole time.
Oh, Tarima. What is she when she joins the academy? They actually make a point of what she's forced into being. That's actually in dialogue.
Would it be
blue.
some sort of psychology thing? Yeah, blue.
Science.
Yeah.
Science. So, here's what we've got.
Okay.
So, this is very interesting. Jayden is science because he wants to be in medicine, of course. Genesis is command because she wants to be a
Okay.
captain. Sam is in operations / engineering because she wants to be in these things.
Mhm.
Did we said
Tarima
that.
is in science.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've gotten all of these
Caleb
right
and
so far, I
Darum.
think.
Caleb has no color. He is grey. He is studying nothing. We actually
he's
have
an
no-
undeclared major.
We have no clue as to what the main character is striving for because he is not striving for anything relating to the academy.
Let the record show that I didn't answer what Caleb was.
Exactly. And then, here's the most confusing one of them all.
Mr. Raimi?
Darum. Command would be the correct thing. He's wearing red. He's also said he wanted to be captain. Rachel brings up a point that I didn't even think about, the pilot thing. However, according to episode 5, series Acclamation Mill, Sam has a freeze frame image of Darum's background, where we get all of this stuff about Darum's background. We see his blue form.
Oh, is this when he vomits?
Yeah, around that time, when he's eating the banana before he vomits.
Yeah.
In that frame, it says he is studying science.
Ah, so he's a blue boy.
However,
Literally and color.
nothing indicates that elsewhere. And here's the shockiest of shockiest shocks. He is 17 years old.
Really?
It says he is 17 years old, making him and Sam the youngest cadets out of our leads.
Huh.
Who are we spying on?
Please return them.
Nah, don't think so.
Hey, really? You want to pick a fight with a Klingon on day 1?
Depends.
Can we knock it off?
Now let's go a little bit more individual character based.
Mm-hmm.
Which cadet had never been on a planet before entering Starfleet Academy? This is an important backstory detail.
Okay. Gut would say Sam, but I feel like that's
Genesis.
a trick. So yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with
not. Yeah, because
and this is poster character. It's not gonna be Occam.
When I say cadet, I mean our main cadets.
Yes,
Right, okay.
It can't be Tarima because she's from Betazoid. That's a planet. Beta Z. Caleb we see on a planet.
It's a very important character thing to
Jayden,
say.
Jayden we see on a planet.
Mhm.
Sam is technically not from a proper planet,
But has she been on one before?
Mm.
but that's why I think it might be Genesis because she grew up on starships.
Rachel's correct.
Okay.
It's Genesis. Apparently, she has never been on a planet before.
Yeah, she was like, says something about the gravity.
In episode 5, again, she references this offhandedly. Insane thing to say and never demonstrate with a character. She's an alien who's never been on a planet before. Do you feel that from her when she's in San Francisco?
Okay, I get a point for that one.
Bartek, you lose out a point, but
yeah.
Rachel
I
does
didn't.
give
Yeah, I didn't lock in an answer, but I was gonna purposely pick something different from Rachel. So yeah.
This is about our good friend Noose Braca.
Mm-hmm.
What is Noose short for?
Oh, they say it in one of the last episodes.
They said it in every episode he's in.
It's like Christopher.
Yeah, it's like part of his name is
Nustifer.
Noose. Yeah.
Rachel's correct. Nustifer.
Oh.
3 points, baby!
Nustifer Baraka. Okay, this is about a good friend Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Which class and/or / subject is Caleb the most skilled at?
Debate.
He's really good at like the hacking stuff.
That's never a class.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that can't be
P.
it.
Rachel, do you have a guess?
Oh, no.
Bartek gets a point. It is debate.
Oh,
He is naturally skilled at debate. He has no issues with it at all.
Yeah, I was trying to pick something different.
Yeah, don't you remember? He nailed it and had a record scratch.
Oh.
That episode, baby.
It's our favorite
I
episode.
know, but it also included the record. Okay.
It was your yum yum of the episode.
This is a question. This next question is something we have asked during the season.
But the show gave us an answer?
Why does the War College exist?
I remember you messaged us and you were like, I just read some crazy shit about the War College and I can't wait to bring it up. So this is probably going to be it.
We have talked about it so much during the season. Why does it exist?
Because Earth was at war.
Oh, there was wasn't there something about how after the burn,
Yeah.
the Federation was like reverting some of its values and it started prioritizing war more, so they made a war college.
They needed to defend themselves after the burn.
Okay. Partial credit to both of you because you're both in the area. So here is the official reason.
Mm-hmm.
The War College was an institute of education that was formed after the burn due to Starfleet Academy reducing in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They are made rather than to explore for defense.
Okay.
So when the burn happened,
Priorities shifted.
And now there are 2 bodies of people who are trying to make people Starfleet officers. And so they didn't get rid of the War College, but they brought back the Starfleet Academy. And the central problem at the heart of this show between the two is the War College has been around for 100 years or so. And they're like, why should we have to work together and or be absorbed into Starfleet Academy, an institution that fell apart? Why should we do that? That's the reason. That's the drama. But it felt very disjointed when we were watching the show.
Okay.
Rachel, this is a loaded question because you love it. But I want Bartek to answer first.
Okay. Ryan's laughing. He finds it funny.
Who are the women that time forgot?
Oh, that's Tilly and Jet Reno.
Rachel, who are the women that time forgot?
Different answer, Rachel. You have to be wrong because I'm right.
She refers to the 2 of them, but it's a broader phrase
No.
that she uses as well, isn't it?
No, you paired it with her other quote about like it was like about going up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, but she said it.
Okay, yeah.
But it is Jet Reno and Tilly because they're women from the past.
Yeah.
Now,
do I get a point for that?
You
Because I
do-
knew
you
that.
both-
was-
That's
You both-
3 points.
that's you know what, 14 points for both.
No,
of you.
free as in like
No, I know.
without price.
So, for you both, we're now going to enter a visual-based round. The
Ooh.
listeners out here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some pictures. And this round is called What Happened to These Characters? I'm going to show 3 characters, one after the other, in order of importance. So admittedly, you may not know these characters' names, but we do know them because they were in the show. So first off...
Bartek spoiled one of these.
First off, we have Lieutenant Rourke, who was prominently featured in the very first episode
I remember,
as the Academy liaison. In our real world, this was the poster child of the haters of Starfleet Academy because a middle-aged, heavy-set woman was serving in the Academy. What happened to this character? She was in the first episode and they prominently featured her.
I remember, yeah.
I don't think she came back.
No, she never came back. She was only in the first episode. What happened to this character?
Is there dialogue in the show that explains? No.
It's all within that first episode.
Oh.
What happened to her?
Did she die in the Nusbraka attack?
You don't know, do you?
The invasion?
She is seen giving medical aid to a cadet having a panic attack, and then she starts to have a panic attack herself, indicating, as best we can guess, she got so nervous that she couldn't return to her duty as liaison to the Academy. So, who was that cadet? Cadet Pickford,
The
you
one
may
that
remember.
ate her badge.
I remember this one. It's episode 6. She has the same thing happen on the bridge.
She has a panic attack, and we never see her again.
Yeah.
She's never referenced. In the first half of the show, she is the comedic relief cadet.
Yeah. She antagonizes Sam at one point.
She antagonizes Sam. She famously ate her comm badge. She was the poster child for the reason people hated this show, because how dare we have a joke about eating comm badges.
Was she the one that Jet Reno was like, what's her name?
Yes, this is the frame I'm showing right now is actually the moment in which Jet Reno says, who is this character? What's her name?
Yeah, they're right.
Her name is Pickford. She disappears after having a panic attack, and we never reference her again.
She hangs out with character 1.
And the last character Bartek has already referenced, which is, I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's a Romulan name, Dizozul. The Romulan War College buddy of the Vulcan. She disappears after episode 5.
Yeah, she gets like knocked out.
By Sam. Now, I was jaw on the floor because I have to retract my yum yum moment from episode 6. Rachel and I both thought, and Bartek, you agreed, in episode 6 and 7, she appeared. She does not. It is another actress who looks similar and wears similar clothes. Completely different actress, completely different character.
Oh, was there someone that we mistook?
Yes, because in episode 6, when the Vulcan died, an actress who looks almost identical to this one walks past his dead body and doesn't really react. And I thought that was weird for the Romulan character.
Yeah. That was a thing.
And then Rachel pointed out in episode 7, we got to see her beam away for All Worlds Day. Different character. So, factually, as we can tell, the Romulan friend does not know he is dead. We are never given any closure, any through line, anything. He was in a duo, and then he died, and the duo that he was with died as well, basically, because we haven't seen them since episode 5. She's still knocked out by Sam's punch.
Well, we still have season 2, so they're going to have an episode where she comes and is like, hey, where's Robbie?
That was my quiz. You both did very well. The one thing that isn't a quiz, but I'll add it here because it was fun detail.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Kyle has a last name? And what is it? There's no way for you to know, but it is said aloud and it is shown on screen. But I thought it would be...
Oh, he is called like Cadet something at some point.
He has a last name. Kyle has a last name. And it's a pun. This is so good. His last name is...
Like in combination with his first name?
No, with his personality.
Okay.
His name...
Kyle Funny. Oh, Ryan O-faced.
His name is Kyle Djokovic. Joke.
Okay.
Because he loves jokes.
Nice. I like that.
I'm Kyle. It means Kyle.
I wanted to know, how many classes did we get in this show? Because I bravely said we'll probably only get like 5. And I specified not like outdoor, like, expeditions on a mission, like actual in the classroom scenes. I said bravely, we'll probably get 5.
Yep.
I'm wrong, but...
Yeah, so I forgot about the expedition practical stuff. So what I did was, before I skimmed through the show, I came up with as many as I could think of off the top of my head. I think I had like 15.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these are like, practicals or expeditions or just, teachers instructing students in some fashion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list out all of the things I've written down, and then we'll all, agree or disagree about like, whether that counts. So again, some of these are very obviously wrong, like my first one. The show opens on Caleb's mum testing child Caleb on like the system.
Yeah. I don't mind that. Like, it's not a class, but like for the series, what it's supposed to be, it's actually a clever little thing, and I didn't even think about it.
In doing this process, there, even for all these things that aren't classes, like, okay, there is some like consistency here and there. Like even the Jet Reno thing in the last episode kind of was a follow-up. But yeah, okay, so that's 0 still. Now, episode 2, this is where we actually start getting classes.
Because we actually go to the academy.
Yes. The episode, there's the opening credits sequence. This episode starts on a bit of a sequence, and in this pre-first opening credits thing, it's mostly Aki addressing the War College and the Starfleet Academy at the same time, and interspersed with this is montages of some classes. We get 3 classes during this. Do you guys remember what the first class is?
No.
It is the Doctor's Mucus class.
Oh, the actual first proper class we get is the Mucus class. Yes.
So we get introduced to the Mucus thing. It's like a little assignment that you have to look after this thing for a little while. The second one, this is one of the ones that I completely forgot about. I remember that there was 3, but I couldn't remember what this middle one was. It was a class that was being taught by this Vulcan.
Oh.
I think he says it's called a xenomythology or creation myth class.
Which would have worked really well with the Sam episode.
Yeah. He's walking and he's saying this stuff about xenomythology. But the point of this class is that, he's talking about historical stuff. The point of this class was that Darren would raise his hand and has there ever been a case of, and then he says something embarrassing that Caleb did in the first episode, and then Caleb says, what about, and he says something embarrassing that Darren did in the first episode. So it's an excuse for them to make digs at each other.
And the last one's the temporal mechanics with Jet Reno, right?
No, that's
in that episode.
The last one is the boot camp thing where Laura Thuck makes a girl cry and run away. I always spot a crier.
And we never see that character again.
Yeah.
That's one where it works.
Yeah. So that's 3 there. Do we count those 3?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're on 3 and we haven't even got the
By the
opening.
way, the Xeno historical one, that should have tied back in the Sam episode, because that's what she's going to. That teacher that's doing a separate subject, it should be that subject. It should actually... Wouldn't it have been nice if that was seeded in a funny montage and then it loops back around?
Yeah. Instead, I don't think we ever see that teacher
No, we
again.
never see it again. No.
All right. Now, the next one is the Jet Reno first appearance, which is a physics entropy class.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that a little bit there. I think we can say that
yes,
one
it's
counts.
listed as temporal mechanics.
Yep. So that's 4. The next one that I have, this is in episode 3. At the very beginning of the episode, there is a joint gym class between the War College and the Academy. And there's even detail there. The Academy are doing cardio and sprint, while the War College are doing weight and flexibility. So that's why they're on different sides of that gym.
Yes.
So do we count that as a class?
I don't know, man.
Do we count it as 2 classes?
Laura Thuck is there, so
Yeah.
I guess...
count it as 1.
Yeah, I'll count it as 1
All right,
class.
so that's 4, I believe. No, wait. No, 5.
5.
So
we beat my thing within 3 episodes.
Yep, so we're on 5 classes now. The next one that I have listed is... Well, this one happens before the credits as well. Do we remember the first hijink of the episode?
The teleporter.
Yeah, they get teleported.
They get, transported, yeah.
Now, they get teleported to different parts of the Academy. The first one that we see is Caleb.
He gets Jet Reno's.
He gets teleported to Jet Reno's temporal mechanics class, and, he's naked.
I'm not going to count this.
You're not counting it,
No.
Rachel?
No. I want a real class, not them walking in.
I mean, it is a real class.
Because I'm gonna say right now, the one with Dax, I'm not counting that either.
Oh, no, right. There was no class.
She walks in after a class.
Before, there was 3 scenes with her. They're all before or after class, or walking through the halls.
Okay, great.
There is none with that. Okay, so you're probably not going to count this next one. Most of the other characters get teleported to non-classroom things. Occam gets teleported to... It's the location where my yum moment of the season happens, that drama stage place. There are some students in the background, but in the foreground, there is a teacher talking to this student. He's an alien, brown skin, orange eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets teleported into a bridal carry with this alien character who angrily throws him on the ground. It's a 3-second
I'm not
scene.
counting it, no.
Yeah. If we were going to debate that one, I would say that I couldn't tell if it was a class or just a teacher talking to a student.
Exactly.
All right, so we're still on 5. I think the Jet Reno one should count, but I'm overruled.
You're overruled. It's marriage.
Right. Next one is we had a debate in the episode about this, the botany thing.
Here's my thing. Aki is doing a botany thing, and that relates to the episode. And she's using this as a teaching thing for them for their pranks. But is it an actual class?
That's the debate.
And here's my reason in retrospect it could be. Because the War College Chancellor also teaches a class. So why can't she? That is my defense of it, because he's in charge of when they're on the Miyazaki. He's the guy running that. Like, he's properly a teacher in that mode as well. So why can't she have a teaching class thing too? That's my defense of it, and the scene is just weird if it isn't.
It's a very confusing scene because it starts with them like as if they're approaching her to complain about something, and then Occam has a line about like, so we're getting back at them with botany?
But that could also be like a class, like, oh, you're going to use the, like, with Tilly, like, you're trying to make us do blank with theater? But that's a class.
Yeah. So, Rachel, what do you think?
Because you were unsure when we watched it.
Yeah.
I think it does count.
Okay.
Because it's a teachable moment. And there are the specimens, there are a setup.
They're in a special room.
It's unclear, but I think it's enough.
The only way I think you could counter it is if we were shown in any other episode that botany was her hobby.
Yeah.
But we're never shown that in any other episode. Ever.
Yeah, it's just an out of nowhere thing for
that. So
yeah. And then the rest of this episode, so there's the sport that they're doing, the Calica. So I have two things for here. First is the first day where it's the tryouts. It's every cadet and, you know, the top whatever are going to be in the, you know, final team. And so we have moments where like they're sitting, I think, in the stage area and they're explaining, you know, oh, this is the why we're doing this thing, the value. Someone interrupts Laura Thock. She makes them do, you know, push-ups. It was Occam, actually.
No, that's football training. Not
it seemed mandatory though, because I think like all of them were there.
All of them were there. I think overall it does count, but not them doing it off hours like the
no,
the kids.
That was not a
count.
class. That was them.
I'm just saying that.
Right. I'm also on the counts, so we'll count that one. And then the next day when they get like the results of like who made the team, they have to do an extra activity where it's deciding who between Darum and Genesis is going to be the captain. So they do like an exercise and everyone watches. Do we count that?
No, I'm not going to count that. I think that's just like a showy thing, not a real lesson type thing.
Okay.
No, it's like saying voting for school captain counts as class.
Okay, that's fair enough. So now we're going to get into episode 4. So we have multiple sessions of like debating stuff. The first scene is the introduction of the debate. You know, the doctor is, you know, talking to them. You have like the dweeby student that stopped appearing who's like, oh, should you really be talking like that?
Yeah. Remember them? They disappeared too.
And they have like a practice debate thing, which is where we get like Caleb's like, you know, expertise. Do we count that?
We would count the practice, and I would definitely say you count when we actually have the proper one when they're... Because the practice does count because he's literally teaching in that moment.
Sure. Rachel, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. 2, the thing that happens between the two things you mentioned, Ryan, there was another class where they picked the topic. This was after they got the news of, like, you know, the Klingon stuff, so there's a bit of tension being like, we should do a Klingon thing. Like, no, that's inappropriate. And Jaden's like, no, we should. They're in a small classroom for this one, for one thing.
This is the one I'm least sure on.
I don't know.
Because it's like a plot thing more than like a class thing. It's like they're watching the news and they're like, should we do this in our class?
Well,
more so than our class.
The class isn't about that news, though. It becomes about it because the topic gets brought up.
Well, then I'm less sure on it because it feels less... Could you even tell me what the class was?
I just think it was another debate one where it's like, okay, we're doing one more class before the big debate event where we have to pick the topic that the debate event's going to be about.
I'm saying no.
Ryan?
I guess I'm leaning no just because I'm unsure.
Yeah, like it's not a hell yes, so it's a no.
Okay, overruled, so it doesn't count. The next one is the debate itself, where Caleb and Jaden have their, you know, tents and they get called away.
Yeah, I mean, technically it is, but also narratively doesn't serve as one. Like, it doesn't really matter.
It also does feel like a bit of a school event thing, so there's a bit of, like, you know, mystery there about whether it counts or not.
I will, because it's like that's what the end. It's like that's the assignment.
Yeah.
They're fulfilling that assignment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on the same page.
All right. This next one, we're probably going to say no, but they get called away, and we have the scene where Jaden and Laura Thock, have their the really good scene where she's the mentor to him, and then it ends by him saying like, "Get me back on that debate stage," and he goes back and has another speech. I think that's the same.
It's the same.
So it doesn't count.
It's the same unit being marked by the Doctor.
Yeah.
He's not marking them as two separate things. That's what I would say. As a teacher, you would be marking it the same thing.
Here's the one that I forgot and you mentioned before. Sam has a little music class.
Before we recorded, I said in the same episode she has as an elective music.
Yeah.
Everyone forgot that. Is it weird that music is an elective, but theatre is a third-year class?
Well, Tilly explains why.
Yeah, that's right. Tilly explains it all.
So was that music scene a class?
Yeah, of course. She has a teacher in that scene that actually asks her questions about why she's doing
it might
the
be an
class
instrumental
like this.
music lesson, basically, but it still counts as a class.
So for episode 5, this was the one thing that I had written down.
Okay.
War College Chancellor learning Alpharati etiquette.
No!
No.
Okay.
No!
I don't want you to see my helping you as in any way strategic, but if I'm honest, it is.
Oh. Honesty. How refreshing.
It tended to pair well with trust.
The episode 6 practical. There's a whole introduction sequence where we're learning like the specific schedule of how it all works. There's like, crisis response mission simulation. The other half are on the Athena Bridge to learn how to support away missions.
100%. Although when I initially said this statement in Captain's Log, I dismissed these things because narratively they're just going to be action, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's an excuse for action rather than like an actual lesson thing. Like, why we're counting these classes is when we were watching the show, it did feel like that element of the show waned. And we can add up. You can literally say 6 out of 10 episodes do these things. But it's the sensation, the feeling of if these classes matter. And we're going through, and we're being vindictive in a weird way by listing these things. And it's like, yeah, they managed to rack up good numbers, but the essence of like, why does it not feel that way? And it's because the focus is so muted on these things where you go, what is an episode that actually had like a lesson? And there's only like a couple where it actually feels like that episode had the lesson and the lesson tied into what the episode was about. While an episode like this, it's like, yes, that does that, but it's really just an excuse to have a battle.
Yeah. Most of the rest of these are from episode 8.
We just skip past because I'm on holiday.
Yeah, there's studying in the 7th episode, but no classes.
Yeah, they have Life Day.
All right. Who remembers what the first thing, or what would be my candidate for the first thing in episode 8 is?
No, I don't remember anything.
Is it the theater?
Nope.
It's not even that.
No. There was a scene with Jet Reno on the bridge where there was a bunch of
they were doing a simulation.
Yeah, they were doing a simulation. There was a lot of infighting and bad
all
teamwork.
of you dead.
Yeah. She said, "Congratulations, that was the worst teamwork I've ever seen in my life. Everyone get the hell off my bridge," or something.
Yes, because that one also narratively does tie back into the last episode.
Yes.
Like they call back to that. So yes, I would say definitely. And that's actually a good one to remind us about because it actually matters.
Yeah.
Yep. And so now we have Theatre 1, where we meet Tilly. And she introduces the concept of, the theatre class.
Yes. You can just count all of the theatre class scenes with her and the students. Just bang, 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 bang. Because it's all the one thing. But yes, this is the one I would argue is the most school-based episode, but in parentheses, negative.
Yeah. Well, the second theatre one is actually, kind of similar to the second debate one. It's the one where they choose the play, Jaden gets sent away because he's got a cold, and Sam has her,
episode.
Yeah, she
goes into a B plot.
Yeah.
That we didn't talk about at all.
So that one's a separate one?
Yeah, I would say that's that kicks off what the rest of the lessons are as one, I would say.
Yeah.
So the third theatre one is the one where they read through Act 2. Not even Act 1, they read through Act 2.
It's famous. I would say, that counts with the same. Like, I think with all
so
of these...
So it counts, but not as an additional one.
Yeah, I think it all counts as, like, the one thing from this point on. I think like the introduction's separate than the actual class.
There's only one more after this where it's the confrontation one where my yum yum.
Yes.
Of the show.
Yeah.
So what were we counting for this one?
Just one.
Just one. Oh, one overall.
One for the intro and one.
2 for all of the theater.
Crazy. So how much did we get in the end? Like 20?
2, 3. And what did we say about the Jet Reno at the end?
With her on the bridge?
Yeah, like
that's not a class.
So that's 13. By our standards, we've determined 13 classes.
That's actually not as much as I thought when we were going through the numbers.
No. We ruled out a number.
That is almost
unlucky 13.
Yeah, we get like 1 or 2 every episode almost. But even though that's not factually true, you kind of round it out as like
average.
We're almost there. So now, Rachel, you had some homework.
I did. I had to go back over the predictions.
Oh yeah.
I failed mine. I feel Jaden was good, and they had more than 5 classes.
Yeah, Darren wasn't the most cringy.
I made the bingo cards too late, so this is in order of things that we could possibly count as like ticking off our predictions by the episode. So Bartek predicted a Full Metal Jacket boot camp style opening, and we do get the PE scene with Laura Thock, who's like, I'm gonna break you down, like she has an Army Hammer moment.
Yeah,
but it's like the end of that scene.
It's the last class of that cold open.
Yeah, and we were teased with the trimming of the hair Full Metal Jacket scene, but then they took it away from us.
And
so is it enough to say that Bartek's prediction was right?
On your gut level, Bartek, does that meet what you thought?
I would imagine that I was talking about like an extended sequence or maybe an episode. That really was just a moment. So yeah, not quite what I was thinking.
Okay.
Ryan, both of us predicted legacy character cameos, and we get that in multiple episodes.
Multiple ways. Ways I didn't expect.
This one's mainly the Doctor returning, and I would say that that's a definite.
We knew that going in, but to bolster ourselves, Jake Sisko appearing was unexpected, and the voice of Avery Brooks as Sisko himself was also not on my bingo card. So, but it does count in terms of like they bring in legacy characters that weren't already featured on the poster or featured in advertising. Yes.
Internal cadet conflicts. So we all kind of discussed it. I believe I used the phrase bullshittery and friction between cadets. And this is mainly between Caleb and Darum in this episode, as well as Darum's initial bullying of Jaden.
Yes.
So I would say that that's another tick.
Yeah, even Jaden and Caleb in episode 4.
It is weird to say yes to that because a part of me also wants to say no because their differences of personalities as cadets doesn't feel like what's rubbing them up the wrong way a lot. It's more like whatever the given plot thing is, like Caleb's mum makes him a jerk. Well, it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. How could we forget Genesis and Sam at the end?
The secret language saved them.
Yeah,
or
thank
I thought you were
God.
going to say, what about the moment where Darum said an innocuous thing to Genesis, and then it made her so frazzled that she didn't get the captain role in their group.
Yeah.
And she's like, how could you do this to me? And he's like, you know I'd do anything to anyone. So,
Okay,
yes, we
last
did get that.
one that I have written down for episode 1 is the oppressed versus oppressor dynamic. So this was one of my predictions for the most part, where I thought that they were going to have a lot of characters from different backgrounds, and we do get that set up with Caleb in this episode, and then that continues to develop throughout the season of his growing up and his experiences to get to the academy are quite different than Jaden's, than Darum's, than Tarima's, than Darum's.
Yeah, you said Darum already. Here's what I'll say. I agree. However, I'm going to ask what I asked Bartek. Your gut feeling. did it live out the way that you thought it would when you said that?
Yeah, I thought it would be bullshit reasons for why they had conflict between characters and a lot of you don't understand me kind of moments. And
It's not a Betazoid thing.
It's not a Betazoid thing. And the Jaden episode's all about this very concept. So yeah, you got it.
We didn't predict a Gryffindor Slytherin ribarry between War College and.
We didn't know there was a War College.
Yeah, exactly.
It never existed before this show.
Bartek did predict a Snape storyline, and we didn't get that. So,
in what way?
Oh, like a mean teacher was good all along, or something.
Yeah, you thought that Paul Giamatti was going to be Snape,
and then I was like, "You think he's going to be in love with Caleb's mom?"
Oh yeah, we thought that the Caleb's mum thing was going to be so much.
Well, remember,
more.
we didn't know what Paul Giamatti was when we were making these predictions.
Well, you two thought he was going to be a teacher.
Episode 2, like this one, is one of my predictions, and I don't think it fully came true. Which is like, it's a mostly engineering and medical student cohort. We actually get a fairly decent mix.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we apparently have 3 science kids according to the show, and yet also counters that.
I did say that we would have a lone medical student, and that is Jaden.
Technically. Because they said it in episode 1, didn't reference it until the last episode. So
but it's there. I'm going to take it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I'm going to take it. Ryan, you predicted that it would be a revenge villain plotline, and we get that in episode 2.
Can I get a tick? I also said in the premiere, in the captain's log, that he's going to get a super weapon. I deserve a tick.
Yep.
I said he's going to be Paul Giamatti gets a super weapon.
Remember, these are organized by episode.
Yes. That was in the captain's log. I said straight up top.
Yeah.
Super weapon.
Episode 3, I predicted that there would be a simulation overload where they would feature several training scenarios in this episode introduced. No?
Did you get that?
Yeah, this episode introduced the Calica combat training sport. We get the simulation that they fail after the thing. Yeah. They do the simulation on the ship.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I would say across the season, there's a good amount, but not overload. But
this is episode 3.
My prediction was more that we would get lots of simulations of things, and I think we got a solid amount.
We did. Even Sam's homeworld was a simulation.
Yeah, not an excessive amount, but still, like.
No, I'm counting it because even Sam's homeworld was a simulation of
it's like a
the
mind
Academy
thing, yeah.
Yeah. / hologram thing.
Now this next one
is this episode 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is another one of mine. I predicted academic bullshittery, and I thought that there was going to be conflict between students and professors. And the prank war almost gets into that, but not enough for me to say that I get a tick.
The show never actually did that. There was never... Well, Tarima has beef with Tilly. Mm-hmm. That's kind of close.
Between students and teachers.
Yeah, that's the closest, really.
It wasn't beef, but I like that there was a moment in episode 3 where, do you remember that Durham and the War College Chancellor had an interaction?
No, what did they say? Did they both say that they're British?
No, it was a thing where they were doing I compared it to the Babylon 5 sex thing where, like, this is a custom in my culture, and like hugs them. It's like, please do not resist this because that will be offensive to me.
I offer you my deep remorse.
That's quite enough.
Please don't deny this culturally sensitive moment, Chancellor Kelrick.
Episode 6, we have a MacGuffin trail in this one. We thought that it was going to be the whole season, but it's just this episode. Super weapon is this episode.
Introduced to a super weapon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why didn't I predict Spyro sound effect?
Spyro 3 specifically.
Yes,
please
indeed.
Get it correct. Why?
I thought that there was going to be inappropriate relationships. I was thinking more professor-student.
Oh, you did say that, yeah.
But I would say that Caleb and Tarima's relationship in this episode is very problematic and should count.
Sam and the Doctor is pure.
Well, they're family.
Yeah.
They're
It's not
family.
problematic.
It's not. They're family.
Episode 8, we get Tilly.
We just skip past 7. 7 doesn't have any. I noticed in a lot of these we're skipping past 7.
That's
Nothing,
7.
nothing happens.
That one's also in 7. Like,
which, the inappropriate relations?
yeah. I thought Tilly was going to have the worst one-liner of the show.
You did. Did she?
I don't know if ultimately, because she wasn't my yum of the season, but
can I remind
Wakey
Ruccachino and Bakey?
Chino and Bakey is pretty awful.
Can I remind you of a line she had? We are the women that time forgot.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. As a woman, I forgot. How dare I? Episode 10.
Oh, we skipped 9. Nothing happened in the 9 either. We made so many predictions, like Caleb's mum was going to be a super weapon herself, or she's in on it. None of these things. That's not bad per se, but it was like it clearly demonstrates we had a yearning for things to matter more.
Bartek predicted that there would be somebody that doesn't want to be a captain at all, and we are really told that about Caleb this episode in particular.
And he doesn't want to be a captain. He just wants to be a guy.
He just wants to go away with his mum. Leave it all behind.
But then he doesn't in episode 10.
He does during the between years break.
And Ryan expected Navarre to come back, and it gets mentioned.
Yes, that's where the Vulcans are from, Neva.
Oh, okay.
They mentioned that we forget that it's called Neva now because, that's a new modern Trek. That's it. That's these predictions. Thank you, Rachel. We managed to get some in, and we got lots wrong. We're not geniuses when it comes to these things. But when it comes to the series as a whole, it's cancelled now. The show is cancelled. Season 2 has already been filmed. It was pretty much filmed off the back of this one. They've just finished filming it a couple of weeks ago. And so they're in the post-production. And it has to be said aloud. It has to be exclaimed. Is there a point of covering the next season? And will we?
I wouldn't voluntarily do it. But that's me talking about any Star Trek at this stage.
I want to, for the simple fact of finality, to wrap up this show, but at the same time, I must say, whenever a show gets cancelled prematurely, or in general, there's always that thing of, and before the next season itself comes out, there's that part of you that goes, why should I bother watching it?
They don't care about it.
It's not even that, it's more, there's no ending now. And in a show like this, there is clearly supposed to be a trajectory, even though it's ramshackle.
They might be able to.
I would happily continue it, but it would be for more so the thought exercise rather than the potential enjoyment of it as a show. Because when we went into this, that was a part of my reason for doing it was I want to see this succeed. I want to see this grow and develop. I want this to potentially be good. As many people may not believe that, considering the negativity that Rachel and I have towards this show and modern Star Trek, that was a part of it. Genuinely on my end.
I would have been really happy if it surprised me.
But now that it's cancelled, and the second season we know for a
Bartek,
fact isn't going to learn from this season, the potential of not wanting to is there. But what do you feel, Bartek?
Could you ask the question again, just so?
Would you want to continue doing this podcast coverage for the second season?
Would you come back for season 2?
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys are going to do it, I'm there for it.
Would you go off and watch more Star Trek?
I think the schedule said has this changed my opinion on the rest of the franchise, and I would say no. I think this was an anomaly. I don't know that this impacts my interest in any of the older stuff at all.
Really?
Yeah. It just seems like it's a completely different world based on everything I've heard.
But it hasn't like piqued your interest to check out
Even
Star Trek.
hearing the praises that we've sung for the older stuff.
Not any more than I had before we started. And I said before we started, like, I'd be open to checking out the original stuff early on. I don't think this has tainted or piqued me any more than I was at the start of this.
I will just put this out here as the final statement from me. I can't speak for you both, but I don't love this show. I don't hate this show. I have lots of negative things to say. I have lots of positive
Discovery
things
is worse.
to say. Oh, yeah. But I reject a lot of the negativity that this show has been getting because it's not earned. And specifically, episodes like Cozine and others have ranked low because they're the stuff that has the most minor of gay things or this or that. Or people get in uproars because Jaden wears a skirt, so they're bullying this character. He's the best fucking character of the show. He's wearing a skirt, so what? There's a gay kiss, so what? Like, the thing that boggles my mind is I reject all of this wokeism crap nonsense that people throw, like, oh, go woke, go broke, all of that. They aren't even doing it.
Yeah.
It's the most shy, quiet, muted, pathetic, wimpy, cowardliest way they could go about these things, even for modern Star Trek. And so when I see all of these hate mongers going after this show like it's doing stuff like Sense8 did, I get even more befuddled because I'm seeing it and I'm saying, I think they should do more gay stuff. I think they should do more of these things. And if anything, it boggles my mind that people get upset about it, as well as people who love this show championing it for doing all of these things like it's doing something amazing with it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just doing the bare minimum with
So
it.
there were a lot of theatre kids that were really happy with episode 8 because they were doing theatre stuff, and it's like, but they weren't doing it that well.
Thank you all so much for listening along our long
Extra
trek
special
through
thank to
this
the
series. Oh yes, we have our Patreon. Support us there, get these episodes early. We're going through Killjoys, we're reacting through Killjoys. You can get all of that stuff. Huge back catalogue. We've talked about the best and worst rated episodes of Star Trek. The top 5 and bottom 5 of Star Trek. So if you want to hear us talk about more Star Trek, as well as the movies, we've talked about each Star Trek movie, even Into Darkness, Bartek's only entryway point.
My second favourite Star Trek thing of all time.
Was this better or worse than Into Darkness?
This was better than Into Darkness because I don't really remember Into Darkness. What you remember Into Darkness? What do you think?
Yeah. This is less racist than Into Darkness. So
I also have watched and yeah, this is better.
This is better than Into Darkness.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah. Of my ranking, this is the number 1 Star Trek thing. Into Darkness is the number 2.
If you want to find us, you can find us on the various social medias under yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast. If you want to hear the conversations that Ryan and Bartek have with each other, you need to look up what, Bartek?
Spit and Polish presents. There is literally hundreds of hours of us talking about movies.
Every movie that could possibly be. We try to talk about them, but we haven't got them all. We've had movies with Star Trek actors in them.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. We've worked out that there was Stephen Colbert, Paul Giamatti, and Robert Picardo. But was there anyone else?
Of this series, yeah, of this breed of show. But just Star Trek as a whole, so many actors from Star Trek show up in movies. So many. But yeah, you can hear me say to Bartek in an episode, this person was in Star Trek, and Bartek go, uh-huh. And I'm like, but they were in Star Trek as blank. That's George Takei. And you're like, I like him as the teacher. Talking about teacher roles, that's a movie that uses the teacher set.
He is perfect in that film.
George Takei is as the teacher, and Larry Crown, who's like wanting to like sell stuff all of the time. He's just like he's like motivational book.
Sell stuff and confiscate cell phones.
Cell phones. Oh my! Thank you all so much for being here. Until next time. Oh, if they managed to rope Sulu in some way in second season, who's the legacy character they'll drag in for the second season? Yeah,
he
that's
was on the board, and so was his daughter.
His daughter, yeah. If they have like a hologram of him, that would be amazing. I would love that. I mean, Shatner's still alive. Shatner's still alive. You could wrangle him in some weird way as a voice.
I mean, his living or death status at this point doesn't matter because it's already filmed.
We don't know. He could have done something. He's never done something proper mainstay Star Trek since Generations.
How does he feel?
Since he died.
How does he feel about this woke stuff?
He actually had a very very passionate thing about his disappointment about this series being cancelled because of all of this. He actually had very articulate things to say. William Shatner, to end this podcast on, is one of the most complicated and fascinating people in all of Star Trek.
And here I was reading about why they put the P line in.
I think you'll find these helpful. It's all 74 episodes of Star Trek.